We haven't used this thing since September, and it's now mid-February. So I'm going to do a very fair first start. I turn to fill up the carb bowl, I turn it to start. Got the cap loosened up just for a moment to let the vacuum out if there was any in there. Now I'll shut that. I'm going to give it another minute because it seemed to take like a minute to fill up the carb. But I haven't checked the battery, I haven't done anything. All I've done is turn it to start, let the bowl fill up, and turn it to eco mode off. And this is an honest cold start after, how many months is that? September, mid-September, October, November, December, January, February, 5 months. Well, let's see what happens. Battery's still good. All right, we'll let it sit for a minute. How about that? That's as good as it started when it was brand new. Nice. I just made that last video like 2 minutes ago. I suppose I should add it's got 29.1 hours on it now. And I should probably change the oil again in it. I'm going to do an oil change on the beastie here. 29 and a half hours. I'm going to call that 30 hours close enough. So far, this thing's been flawless. We used it all summer. Took it up to Iowa, Wisconsin, then back down to Iowa, and used it on several overnights when we didn't have electrical available hookups. So we'll see what the story is here. I'm going to just shut it off with the manual shut off here because we're just going to be going ahead and starting it back up once the oil's been changed. Wanted to point out, I did run it. It was just running pretty hard. I had the trailer plugged into it, and I was running the heater inside, so it's had a load on it. Now it's cooling down a little bit. What does an hour meter say? 25.8 on that hour meter. And I gotta say, this thing's been flawless. And you're like, yeah, it's a brand new unit. It better be flawless. But I know that sometimes you buy something new and it just never works right, or something like that. Well, I can't say that about this thing. It's been really solid. So I've been very happy with it. I don't want to burn myself, but I want to see what first of all, what the dipstick looks like. I haven't checked this thing. I'm a little guilty. I haven't checked it a lot since I changed the oil last. I figure it's got a low oil shut off on it. So let's see what it looks like. Can you see that? Look at that magnet. There is very little on there. Very little tiny touch on the side there. But that's since 10 hours. I changed it last at 10 hours. So I'm telling you guys, you need to change your oil frequently. That first 10 hours is absolutely critical. I'd say it's more critical for longevity of your motor than anything else. At this point, I can say that almost a certainty here. All right, let's get that oil drained out. All right, let's try this. See how much we can spill. It's dirty, but looking at that magnet, I would say, we got 95% of all the metal that was going to come out in those first few oil changes. And honestly, this oil is not that dirty. But I guess after only 20 hours, it shouldn't be that dirty anyways, but that's what it looks like. I know somebody's going to want to see it in this little glass jar, so there's no sheen on it that I can see. If there are metal particles in there floating around, they're extremely small. I don't see any. It wasn't like that flecky snow globe that we had the first few times, right? All right, very happy. I don't know if I mentioned it recently or not, but what's really nice about this jar is that right to the bottom of the neck is exactly how much oil this engine needs. So it's perfect. Pour out the old in with the new. I guess there's one more thing I need to talk about. A couple things I can recommend. Like, first of all, I've got this external power block here set up, and that just plugs in. I've got the cables routed around. This should be obviously grounded out right there, but I just didn't get to it for this test. And my Smart Energy Power Watchdog is ratting on me because there's no ground missing. So anyways, the reason I did this was for two things. The first reason is I've got a 50 amp plug here, and I can just, without using a dog bone, to go from here to there. It works a lot easier. That's one less connector I have. But then also, the other thing is when you put the dog bone in there, it pushes out on these little circuit breaker covers right there and kind of bends out, and because of this plastic, you can't really push it in all the way. It's always like canted out just a little bit. I don't really like that, so I can highly recommend just getting yourself one of these things and then hooking it, you know, up properly, use the ground and everything, and it works just perfectly with these Power Watchdogs. So I've got it in auto off. Obviously it's sucking the last of the gas out of the bowl, and that's what it's like when it shuts itself down. So yeah, anyways, that's why I did this. I've got a 50 amp plug here, and I also don't have to worry about that bending out. So yeah, but you know what, for the price, I don't think you can go wrong with one of these things. I've been happy with it so far. No complaints. It's never let me down. I don't know what, they're fine so far. If things change, I'll obviously let you know.